Right, so my name is Amir Golbarg. I'm the Senior Vice President of Minor Hotels for Middle East and Africa.
So, Amir, your expansion across the Middle East and Africa is incredible. How do you manage to keep each brand's identity intact?
See, for us, this has been something that we've built up on since the inception of our first Anantara brand. You know, until 25th of March this year, every one of our brand identities remained intact by itself. We had our own loyalty platform, own websites, and own distribution. So our 8 brands had always ran in their own lanes. We're not a believer of adding brands just for the sake of adding brand. Every brand has its own DNA and a location. But 25th of March this year, we did a bold move and we launched our master brand. So that's the next journey of the next chapter in our journey, which is now the minor hotels going into a B2C platform, where the consumers are really feeling the power of this master brand and the 8 brand subsidiary joining under one force. So that's what's really helped us, build our own brand DNAs, expand ourselves to where we are today. And the next phase, which we've launched this year, is now the consumer-facing brand with a loyalty platform, booking engine, everything now rolling up into the big master brand called Minor Hotels.
That's incredible, and it shows, really. You have had really great success within the Minor group.
We tried. Still more to come.
So we're day 1 at ATM today.
Yeah.
What excites you about this year's ATM specifically?
You know, I keep saying that, but it keeps happening and we keep outpacing ourselves. You know, I mean, look at this. It's the busiest it's ever been. Last year we beat records, this year continues, and our commitment has been, you know, we're expanding the size of our booth. We keep expanding it. And not only here, I mean, we also have presence in every one of the destination stands that we operate in. So we're a firm believer of not just focusing everything here, but supporting every one of the destinations that we operate in. And for me, what's really been exciting now, and it continues to be, is the amount of commitment the consumers and the trade has to this country. And this country has really positioned itself and being at the forefront of hospitality globally. And that for me is a very important anchor. With us being here and expanding our footprint out of this region and out of the Middle East, UAE is something that really is a testament to what every other country should be doing, in particular when it comes to public and private.
Yeah.
And I think what ATM really resonates is how public and private can come together and create such a success story.
I couldn't agree with you more. We've mentioned we're sitting at day 1 of ATM, and the theme for this year's ATM is all about connection through travel and technology.
Absolutely.
What does that mean for you specifically?
But you see, the first thing I mentioned when it came to connection is where the public and private comes together. That's an important connection. That's an important connection you cannot underestimate. You know, be it in, you know, I just came back from a lengthy journey across Sub-Sahara, and I've met with a number of key stakeholders across all government entities, across a number of countries. And the one message I give everybody is work together, build these foundations and forums, work together with private, public, airlines, travel agents, bring them to the table, work together as one unified force, and you will have success.
Right.
So that is a major part. Technology, a major element of the business that we're operating in. And you know, the usage of AI, it's not just about the fancy word of AI, it's about, you know, deciphering data. It's to make sure that we understand the data we work with and how we can move that forward. You know, we've used data now in AI to create a science-based target index for our sustainability. So we have a very clear understanding of where we are today, where we should be, and what's the journey ahead. And I think through working with governments, connecting, through technology, making sure that we have every aspect covered, and working on a sustainable growth model that understands where we were, where we are, and where we're going, that's a very important component.
What does a science-based target look like?
I mean, science-based target, so obviously we've, working backwards, we had set ourselves a net carbon zero impact for 2050. Now we've looked at every one of the parameters attached to that, and that's where the science base comes in, where you understand what is your current impact, let's say on landfill. In this region alone, we've had a 40% reduction in landfill in 2024. We've dropped our plastic by nearly 89% in this region. We've now looked at how are we impacting local communities and supporting, you know, domestic tourism and domestic communities in terms of sourcing, you know, minimizing the carbon footprint for the goods and produce that we bring in. And through science-based targets, you can now measure every one of these parameters. And that's very important, because if you can't measure it, you can't do it.
That is so true. Congratulations.
Yeah.
This
Thank
sounds
you.
like incredible work within sustainability. I'm really impressed to hear this because it goes far beyond just the basics, right? Which we hear all the time from many
The tick boxes are
yeah.
way gone. You
Yes,
know, now
I agree.
I think there's enough technology and data
Yes.
that you can't just talk.
Yes.
You gotta prove.
Agreed. Now, sticking on this topic of connection and connection through travel and innovation, if there was one aspect
Yeah.
throughout the entire ecosystem of hospitality that you believe should never be digitized and should always be humanized, what element would that be?
You can never take away the human touch. I can tell you can do whatever you want, and I've been very open and candid. As much as I'm digitalizing the back office, I'm supporting AI to minimize the workloads, to make sure the efficiencies in the back is correct. We use AI as well to make sure that we can maximize hyper-personalization, get guest data preferences, making sure we communicate with them. But in the front, I would never make a change. And that's one commitment I've made, and as a company, we understand. You know, we're very touch focused. This is a high touch business. And for us, we've been an experience-led company from inception. Now everybody talks about experiences and all the buzzwords around it, but this has been at the core of our DNA. We started this journey in 2001 and we will never stop. But you cannot create experiences, you cannot create these lasting memories if you're doing it through an AI platform or through an online platform. You gotta do it through people, and people make that difference. So I would never touch that piece of the business.
Excellent.
Yeah.
As a final question for you, I want to do something a little bit more fun.
All right.
Complete the sentence. A minor guest experience should always feel like
Like one of a kind.
one of a kind.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much
you
for your
very
time,
much.
Mr. Amir. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure.